chance for us to respond. Obviously, we weren't happy with the opening weekend against Saskatoon. We were happy with the effort. I think that was our best game, 60-minute effort against Prince Albert, but still want to continue working. We're not happy with our start, so I've been happy with practice so far. There's been a lot of pace, a lot of compete, and it's an important weekend for us, and we'll make sure we're ready to go.
What did it mean to get the first win of this season? I know that can linger at times for teams and it can really get in teams' heads, but you got it, after a couple of games. What did that mean for the room?
Yeah, obviously it's really important. I know our guys felt, they want to push, they want to do better, and as a group, we weren't happy just with our effort. We thought we had, good first period, second period, but just wasn't there for the full 60 minutes. So something that we talked about and challenged our group that Saturday morning before the game. So I was real happy with our guys' response, and now they understand just kind of what it takes. And Saskatoon did that to us in the first week, and I thought just some of their habits they did a real good job at, especially early in the season. So that's something we've been talking a lot about, and I thought they went out and showed that against Prince Albert.
Habits-wise, obviously, can start in practice.
Yeah.
Normally starts in practice. So
100%.
What have you seen this week that you've liked habit-wise, or something maybe you guys need to execute a bit better in practice?
We've always talked about just pace and compete in our practice, but Monday, Tuesday, real tough days, and then today and tomorrow a little more 5-on-5, get into some special teams. But we just wanted to kind of pick up the compete in how we do things. So we do some different things in the Monday and Tuesday practice, and coming out of training camp, we changed how we did training camp and early in the season because of some of the injuries that we had last year and the amount of injuries. So, whether that had something to do with just how we started and just the lack of, that compete and effort for the full 60 might have had something to do with it. So as a staff, we kind of, regrouped and talked about how we can change some things. And I thought we did a good job here the last couple of weeks. I thought our group's done a real good job just picking that up, and they want to get better. That's the biggest thing. Our group wants to get better, and they want to play, and they want to play for each other. So it's important for us going forward, and I think they've done a good job so far.
Tough when you have a lot of turnover like that. Obviously, you're going to have on a junior team,
Yeah.
You're going to have turnover. Even at the pro level, you're going to have turnover. But is it tough when you lose a lot of your top 9 guys and you lose some critical defensemen?
It is a challenge. You're going to have guys that are going to be playing in bigger roles, and it's something we've talked about before. We have guys that played, important roles for us with even Gouldy. Bernie Kaz played a lot with Geeks in the first line, but, Bernie Gould kind of played third line, second line, up and down. Once we had everybody in the playoffs, are more of a third line. So now they're been given more responsibility, and it's an opportunity for them to play a lot more minutes, 5-on-5, all special teams. And I think they've done a good job, but just trying to find that consistency in their game. And I was really happy with that effort level that they had in Prince Albert. Now it's just, again, I think consistency is the word for us, just trying to find that practice after practice. That's where it starts for us, and then that'll lead to in-game success. But it's something for the new guys, just trying to get adjusted quickly, especially on our back end. We've had lots of young guys kind of have to play important roles here to start the season, and we've been happy, and we've been putting in a lot of work with them, and I've been real happy and impressed with the way they've played, and we want them to continue to develop, which I know they will. And I'm looking forward to our group. We got a good kind of mix of some really good young players that are stepping into the league for the first time, and then some guys that are taking on bigger roles.
You talk about taking on the bigger roles. How do you make sure that you manage that so you're not overloading them? Obviously, you have expectations within the room, and you do as a coach. You're projecting guys' growth year over year, but how do you make sure that they're in the right slot, I guess, when it comes game time, and day in and day out, you're not burning them out?
It's I think for them and for us, we just try and take it day by day. I know you talk a lot about process, and the process for us is just trying to get better every day when we show up to the rink, and that's their mindset. We had our one-on-ones last week, and it's something that we talked about. You don't want to get, especially for new guys coming in the league, but also returning guys, just kind of setting their expectations of points and kind of expectations for themselves in that standpoint. And that's my only conversation with them about points. I want them to be very process-driven and just work on getting better and playing the right way. So I think it starts with theirs. Just as long as they feel comfortable and they're having impact, it might not always be on the score sheet, but playing the right way and getting in a good frame of mind is important for them, and just trying to build their confidence here, these first couple weeks, especially the young guys. I think that's the biggest thing. 10 games, once you get 10 games in, they get pretty comfortable, but it's trying to build that confidence. So when they're in those moments that they can make the right play.
Leadership-wise, obviously you announced your leadership team pretty recently. What have you thought of that so far, and how have they been in the room and away from the ice?
Yeah, it's been good. I mean, Kazzy's obviously just someone that shows up to the rink and does everything the right way. So he leads on the ice and in the gym, and it's real important for our group. And he's a really good voice. Obviously, he's still young, so he's going to continue growing. But I think that's the benefit with our group is we have a good young, leadership group with all brand new letters. Obviously, Goldie, Johnny, 19, Dicker's 20-year-old, but it's the first time that they've had to wear letters. So it's going to be by committee as well, too. I think those guys are wearing letters, but we've created a bigger leadership group with a few more of our 19-year-olds that have been here since the start of their careers, because we want those guys involved, and those guys, our voices are important here as we go forward, as we try to get better. So we've just increased the size of our leadership group, have more conversation with those guys, and being new letters and some of them are being new leaders, we're just going to help them and help them grow. They're going to make mistakes, but we just want to get better every day.
Offensively and defensively, anything you want to hone in on for these next 2 games this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, defensively, I think the amount of goals that we gave up against Saskatoon is an area that we want to continue getting better at. We talked a lot about just our D-zone coverage and making sure everyone's on the same page. I think it's a little bit different for even Johnny coming in, playing in Prince Albert. We're more man-to-man, so just the way we play, I think we just really want to kind of dial that in here this week during practice and try and limit some of those slot chances, those grade A chances that teams have been getting. So, yeah, just trying to get the young guys through some video and through some practice of trying to get on the same page, and I think we did a good job of that today.
Offensively, you're fine?
Yeah, I mean, I've been pretty happy offensively. I think we've had good spurts. I think one of the issues early in the season is just trying to get some more net presence and bodies around the net. You don't want to get too perimeter and swing away. You want to make sure we're stopping in good spots and getting to our spots. So, yeah, there's definitely areas that we want to continue to improve. But I think that was in focus for us, is being around the net a little bit more, making sure we have good net presence. I mean, with young guys coming in the league, just the stops and starts and getting to their spots and being a little more consistent in that was something that we've talked about. But I think they've done a better job here of late. And, it'll be something that we continue to work on. But I've been happy just with our focus to try and get in those tough areas. The reality is we're not, a flash and dash team. We don't want to go back and forth, odd man rush. So we want to make sure that we have good offensive zone possessions and take care of those, and the small details of having good net presence and being in good spots and consistency in those spots is going to be real important for us going forward.
So what have you learned from Saskatoon? The first 2 games you get on Friday, and then also just maybe a quick look at Brandon to see me on that echelon.
Yeah. I mean, I've been real impressed with Saskatoon and the way they started. I think everybody in the league has. I think that just goes to show you that the success that they've built here over the last couple of years, the culture that they've built has led into the success that they've had last year. You talk about guys that have had to step up into bigger roles, and some of those guys have stepped into the roles pretty seamlessly. So I was just really impressed with the small details, the blocking, the shot blocking, and just how hard they were in the slot. So, yeah, some of those areas, I'll give them credit. I think our team stacks up really well against them, but those areas you have to be better at, because, they're going to show up and they're going to play hard for 60 minutes. So it's going to be a real competitive game. And then, Brandon, I mean, they've got the McEwens, and they got some more high-end skill. So with them, especially in the past, they've always been a real dangerous team off the rush and on the power play. So an area that we have to make sure that we're good against them.
It's good for me.